Well, I suppose there's nothing else for it, is there? And that's just to get on with sorting this out. And that's what I'm here to do today. I'm going to start. I made a little bit of a head start on it when Eli and Kate and Guy came to visit. Didn't have much time, and that's just been the story of my life for the last 2 weeks, in that I haven't had a great deal of time. But what I'm just doing now is, in this bed, there are some lovely little strawberry plants. So I am trying to save the strawberry plants. And just while I'm doing the strawberry plants, I thought I'd tell you about my plan, my master plan. So, you know, when we came up here the other week and discovered this sort of thing that had happened where this raised bed had collapsed, and a bit of a problem. And by the way, I didn't respond. There was like so many comments, and I really appreciate all the help on there about what to do. And I must admit, the sort of overriding theme of the comments were to obviously deal with this, get rid of this. This is not repairable. We'll rescue whatever timbers and stuff we can from these and use them for other stuff. But for the other two beds that are similar sort of over here, that are looking a bit sketchy, and whether people thought I should take them out as well or not. And I say the overriding theme was to deal with them, take them out again, reclaim whatever timber you can do from them and use it for something else. So safety comes first was the message that I got from that. And you know what, it's 100% right. So if ever I've got my son here or anything like that, if ever we're sort of, even just me cutting about, you know, for me the allotment is a very sort of solo activity. I do all this by myself. Nobody helps me. I just cut about doing it all, and I quite like it that way, to be honest. Yes, there's a lovely community around here, and I think that's one of the nice things, isn't it, about allotments, and that is, if you want to, and if there's people sort of cutting about, you can go and have a chat, and you have a bit crack on about, you know, obviously you're all at the allotments, so you've all got a bit of a shared interest to chat about and whatnot. But you know what? If you're not feeling it and you just want to come here and get on and potter about and sort of get away from life, I think I'd said in my last video that work has been incredibly busy and lots of stuff going on last couple of weeks. And you know what? It is lovely to be here, even though I'm doing a job that I'm not particularly pleased about, having to sort all this out. But you know, it is nice to be here. It is nice to be in the beautiful sunshine at this time of year. It's lovely. It's only about 4 or 5 degrees here at the moment, but you know, I love it when the weather is like that. I love it when it is sunny but cold like it is today. I think that's one of the best sort of types of weather we can get. It's one of my favourite times of year for being about and doing stuff and getting on with things. The only thing, you know what, I think the other week as well in the video when we discovered this mess, I think I said, you know what, it's just one of those things. You've just got to deal with it and get on with it. And I'm not that annoyed. The only thing that does kind of annoy me about this is that sometimes I can be quite time poor. So sometimes I struggle with getting enough time to get up here to get on with things and get stuff done. And this is a big mess, a big thing to sort out for me. So there's lots of hours involved in sorting all this out, and it's hours that I should be spending over there prepping the ground for the new polytunnel, over on plot number 1, sorting out all the beds and stuff like that, getting stuff shifted over here to plot number 2 to get ready for it. So I'm losing quite a lot of time doing this, but hey ho, you know what, a bit of hard graft, a bit of sort of less time kneeling here, procrastinating, chatting to a camera, not really doing it. I'd probably get on with it a bit faster. But I've had an idea anyway. I've got a bit of a master plan. So you probably can't see it on the camera. You might see it, might not. But remember the other week, a couple of weeks ago, we moved the big U-shaped raised metal bed, easy enough for me to say, from plot number 1 to plot number 2, and it's just over there behind me. It's only about half full of compost and it needs topped up. And I was wondering what to do with the compost from here, in that taking it out of here, shoveling over there to the little sort of paved area, sorting all this out, putting beds in here, moving it all back. But instead, what I'm going to do is take the compost out of here. I'm going to put it into the big U-shaped raised metal bed. And then once I've cleared all this mess out of the way, all the wood and stuff like that, once I've got shot of all of that, we've got other beds over on plot number 1, bring them over here, then move the compost from plot number 1 to over here. And that way, I'm not moving this compost twice. I'm not moving it from here to there, from there to here. I'm just moving it from here to there, and then it doesn't have to come back and go anywhere else. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes, if you're just you're just sitting at home and you're thinking things over in your head about whether it's the allotment or whatnot. And I was thinking about the allotment, and I was like, what can I do? What can I do with all that stuff? What's going to be the most efficient way of doing this and sorting it out? And I think that is going to be the way forward. So I've got these are joined, this weed fabric as well that lines these beds is joined across the beds. So we need to cut that first as well to get them separate. So this bed here is now entirely separate from that bed there. So I'll try and tackle this one first, get all this done. So for the next however long, I'm just going to be shoveling loads of compost. You don't really need to see me shoveling loads of compost. I'm literally going to shovel compost out of here, into this wheelbarrow, and into that big metal bed over there. So I'll not film that, but I will come back to you once it's done, because remember, we're intrigued to know whether the bottom of these beds are actually lined with anything or not, whether it's just the plain wood, whether it's lined, and we can see what's been going on with the water and the weather and stuff like that, how it's rotten through, where it's broken, and what's actually happened with these. So I'll be back with you in just a jiffy. So we're making progress, and that was a bit of hard work. Got a few things to tell you about, and I'll bring you over actually in just a moment, and you'll see exactly why these beds have failed, the exact reason why. But there was a lot more compost actually in these beds than I thought. And at the minute, because it's been raining so much around here recently, it is incredibly heavy. So it's all waterlogged. It's absolutely soaked. It is sodden. And one thing I can tell you, what we were going to try and discover is, are these beds lined or not? And they are indeed lined. It goes all the way down the bottom here. And again, I'll bring you over in just a second, and we'll see why they failed and what's happened. They're stapled into the side. This side is double layered, so on the sides there's like double layers of the weed fabric. That end, there's only a single layer of the weed fabric, but it's obviously been getting really wet, and because it's lined with the weed fabric, there's not... the drainage has been awful. There's been nowhere really for the moisture to go. The weed fabric is a little bit porous, so water's slowly been dripping through and soaking the planks at the bottom of the bed. Speaking of which, let me come over there and grab you, bring you over, and we'll have a look. So I've just brought you over to exactly where I was kneeling. This is the bed that I've emptied out. You can get a good sort of close-up look there at how it's lined all the way around, and it's stapled all the way along the top there to keep it in. You can see that that's the leg that's failed there and pushed up through the bottom. Whether that's the first thing that's failed or what, I'm not entirely sure, but let's just come up this end and we'll reveal the secret under here. Let's just pull that right back, and you can see this is the wood. So this is the bottom of the beds in here. You can see, look, we'll get nice and close to that. You can see it's rotten all the way along there. So all that moisture has been seeping through the weed fabric, and just slowly, very, very slowly, over time, has beaten rottenness down. And I mean, this is completely rotten. That's just snapping in the middle there. There's nothing left to it. All the integrity of the wood has gone, I guess, through this. You see, like I say, it's just been seeping through, drip, 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 no proper drainage. The weakest point or whatever at the end has failed, and the whole thing has collapsed. Hopefully you can kind of see what's going on over here from over there. The sun, right? I kid you not, the sun is right there at the moment, and it's really low in the sky at this time of year. So it's an absolute nightmare to try and get the camera in the right space. I might look very dark over here. Apologies for that, but what I want to do is try and somehow I want to try and move this out of the way because it's on top of the grass. So I don't want the grass getting any worse than it's already going to be. And you can probably see it happening. The sides have just come detached from the base, and I'm not entirely surprised. I don't want to stand on that base because it's rotten. I'm not entirely surprised that has come apart, but where am I going to put this for now? I just want to move it out of the way just to give myself some space to sort of work and figure things out a little bit. Like I say, I want to get this up off the grass because it's going to be killing the grass under here. Just make sure these aren't attached. So we've got a bit of a problem here that the legs have like collapsed that way. So the legs from the front one have collapsed under the back. But I'm up. God, I've just lifted that there and look at that. Look at how rotten that is. It's just absolutely done for at that end. It's entirely, I'm not surprised this is gone. If I let me come a little bit close and show you this, look at that. It is entirely done, rotten, finished, which is why this is obviously collapsed. So we'll just fling that over there and get rid of it. I don't think we're going to be using that timber again, do you? I don't think it's going to happen, but let's just see if I can do this without hurting myself. So there's the front legs there. You know what, that timber's not in bad condition. You probably can't see it too well over there. It's a bit wet, it's a bit manky. It just needs cleaned, sorted out, treated, good to go. So I think we'll put it over here in this is probably going to be the to reuse section, and this is going to be it's entirely finished sort of section over here. But like I say, I want to get it up off the grass because I can already see the grass under here, and I'll show you this in a bit. It's already started to die under here. I mean, it'll recover, you know, I say relatively quickly. This time of year might be a bit dodgy, but it's already started to yellow. It's obviously not been getting any light for a little while, and I'm going to try and move this, excuse me, while I disappear just for a second. While I get rid of this back here, there's a bit of a sort of dumping ground sort of space back here that I'm just going to put that in and get rid of it. And we've created a bit of space to get on with things. So I've managed to get rid of a load of the rotten wood at the bottom, and now it is just a case of getting a shot of the broken bits off the side of this. I'm trying to see what I can and can't sort of reclaim. I've only got this little ratcheted manual screwdriver that was actually this was a Black Friday buy off Amazon. It's a really cool little kit. It wasn't even very expensive, like £7 or £9 or something like that. And it's great because it's ratcheted, so it just makes life a lot easier. Not as easy as I have like the electric drill or the impact driver with this, which means this is going to take a little bit longer. But what I will do is I'll chuck a link in the description down below if you want to go and have a look at what I'm doing in this. Like even bits of timber like this bit of old decking board, it's warped, it's got a crack in it, and I've got a pile of timber over there. And the other thing I'm being careful with is I'm very aware I've now got a pocket full of rusty screws, because there is, like, the stuff I was sorting out over there before, there is bits of screw and things everywhere, poking out and whatnot in various different places. And I've kept my gloves on, which isn't ideal for using the screwdriver, but I'd rather it was a bit awkward using the screwdriver than having to go and check the status of my tetanus through having some sort of rusty nail or rusty screw through my hand. I think we can all agree that is preferable, but I think, because this has taken me longer than I thought. Like I say, there was a lot more compost in these than I'd imagined there was. And, man. Oh, apparently the bottom screw's off this. And I don't know why, the bottom screw. So I was turning the bottom, and I'm thinking, why is that not turning on the screw? And apparently the bottom of the screwdriver comes off to unveil a little cubby hole where you can hide spare screwdriver bits and stuff in it, which I don't know why you would do that, because it comes in a little carry case with loads of different screwdriver heads and stuff in it. So that's a bit weird. Anyway, let me see if I can get this, doesn't it? It's all, there's cable ties and staples, and it's doing its best to fight back. What on earth is jammed in the middle here? Double, triple stapled. I need to get some leverage on this. Oh, there's a block behind there. That's what's causing this. There's a block, so I tell you what, where there's a will, there's a way. Why make it difficult for yourself with a screwdriver when you can just kick it down? That makes life a lot easier. And this, let me show you these timbers. These ones aren't actually too bad. So the ones that I'm recovering off the top of the bed, they're all right. You can see they've been a bit damp on the inside. Nothing fatal. We'll keep these, chuck them over there in the use again pile, let them dry out for a bit, sort them out. Jobs are good. And almost done for today. I'll just show you around in a wee minute what's been happening in the big old pile of rotten timber that we've now got to sort out. But the tiny bit of context, it is Sunday the 30th of November. It is about 3:30. You can just see the sun poking over my shoulder there, and I'm going to start packing up, tidying stuff up. I haven't got as much done as I wanted to, but give it half an hour for now, and it will be pitch black around here. The sun goes down so quick at this time of the year. Say half an hour, it'll disappear, be pitch black, and it's a bit dodgy, especially when I'm working with timber and there's rusty screws and bits and stuff and poking all over the place, about knocking around at that time of night. But let me just spin you around, and I'll show you everything we've been up to today. So we'll start with just a bit of a look at the big metal raised bed. You can see the mounds of new compost that we've now got in here. It's getting ever higher. I reckon by the time I've emptied out another one of those other raised beds up there, that'll just be about perfect in there, and it'll be uncanny timing for getting stuff from the other plot over to this plot. And speaking of which, I'll tell you about my plan in just a moment. You can see the mess that it's made of the grass over here. You can see that's where I've been digging the compost up, and the sort of yellowy grass at the front there where we've moved all that timber from. This is the space where it was. We've still got the other one there. I've not got enough time to get cracking with that one. Just have to come back another day, get it sorted. But what I'm thinking here is, you see this space here where these two big raised beds have been? I think I might get a row of 3 double height pallet collars in there, up to sort of, you see where those white plastic boards are at the end. So I'll get at least a row of 3 double heights in there, and they will be absolutely perfect for where I like to do the carrots and leeks and things like that. I think that's what that space is going to be. And remember, we've got the other raised beds that I showed you the other week there for strawberries and stuff like that. So eventually, when we get rid of these ones, then we'll put them in there. Now, in theory, and again, thank you to the commenters on the other videos there, this should be easier because they haven't collapsed yet like this. So what I should be able to do is just take these end panels off here, pop the wheelbarrow at the end, scoop the compost out of here when these planks aren't here, into the wheelbarrow, move it, and it should be 10 times easier than sort of shoveling it up from essentially kind of ground level into there and shoveling it down there, or wherever it's going to go. Obviously these beds will be something different, but we will sort that out. And last but not least, I know I said I'm not trying to get too annoyed by it, but I'm now out of all this. I've got a huge big pile of rotten timber that I'm going to have to take to the recycling centre, and it's probably very similar to all your recycling centres run by the councils these days. Ours is only open 3 days a week. You've got to book a slot, and it gets busier and busier and busier, as you get up towards Christmas, when people are trying to tidy the house, and after Christmas, when people are getting rid of cardboard boxes and whatever else they've got, it just takes ages to get a slot, get in and get rid of all your rubbish. So hiding back down here away from the sun that's disappearing behind the hill down there and getting lower and lower in the sky. And what I was going to show you is that whenever I'm digging in the soil around here, a little really fat robin always appears. And I kid you not, it's been in this tree here for about 10 minutes. And I thought, you know what a great place to finish the video and finish the shot. I'll be here and the robin will be there and it'll look lovely. And as soon as I pressed record right now, I kid you not, off it went and it was away. It sat there for 10 minutes, just sort of sitting dead still in the tree, press record and off it goes. But anyway, not to worry. I know I've said I'm trying not to complain about this job, about sorting these raised beds out, because it's time I don't really have. It's a thing I don't really want to be doing because I've got 1,000,001 other things to be getting on with. However, I said before, work's been incredibly busy. Like the last 2 or 3 weeks, it has been ridiculously busy. So what I am glad of is getting up here, being in the fresh air, being in my little happy place. It doesn't matter if it's a non-glamorous job. I think sometimes on YouTube you can almost sort of make the allotments and things look really glamorous with new polytunnels and plants and stuff like that. But sometimes there's just some really crappy jobs that you've got to get on with and get stuff done. But I'm outside, it's sunny, it's not massively cold. I've had a great time, a great-ish time. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed taking stuff apart, shoving stuff, being outside, doing some jobs, fixing some stuff, breaking some stuff, sorting some stuff. It is what it is. Anyway, that is me done for today. Thank you for watching, folks, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.